What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. This is Double Daddy from tokenpathways.com. How you doing today? We're going to have a look at a few articles, and we're going to talk about crypto a little bit today, and we're going to have a look at a crypto and the wildest betting site you've ever seen in your entire life. So if you are sensitive to gambling, if you are a gambling addict, if you shouldn't be exposed to things of a gambling nature, then this is not your video. So I'll give you a second or two to just sort of go click off. And I'm going to talk about something else for a minute before we get into the gambling quotient anyway. So you've got a chance to exit out. You've been warned. Anyways, look at the crypto prices today. There's a whole lot of green going on today. This is the world responding to world events. Or rather, this is crypto responding to world events. And after it went down a few days ago, we've seen a nice steady increase in response to the fact that, well, things have happened in the world, life goes on. So that's what happens here. We'll have an event, we'll have a bit of a shakeout, and then we'll have a rerun. So, or rather a rerun up. And that's what's happening right here, is the rerun up. All right, moving into our first article. I love seeing this article because the last time we talked about Michael Saylor predictions, I out threw him with a prediction. So let's read the article. We have Executive Chairman of Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, has just revised his projections for Bitcoin. His new target is $21 million in 21 years, a prediction that is debated within the crypto community and raises questions about the foundations of his heightened optimism. Now, I'm not concerned about any of the detracting comments here. Let's have a look at in brief, because this is 20 years from now. Saylor raises his Bitcoin forecast from 13 million to 21 million by 2046. This is conservative in my estimation. We've seen Bitcoin has grown by leaps and bounds in the 16 years that it's been alive, and we're talking about what it could look like in 20 years. So we're talking about more than its entire life cycle, and we really can't predict that. We can try, and, everybody can throw their name out into the world and say, hey, I think it's going to be X, and if it does show up to be X, then you look like a genius. So let's carry on. This increase is based on the accelerated institutional adoption and an unprecedented political shift in the United States. So that makes sense. Trump is now the crypto president, or so he says, and the institutional adoption has increased dramatically. I believe there's an article out in the world somewhere that says Strategy's accumulation alone has turned Bitcoin's deflationary calculations even further deflationary. This is just by the purchases of one company. So imagine if somebody had that power over the United States dollar. So if you had, I don't know, a 1% inflation rate, let's keep it simple. If you had a 1% inflation rate, but Microsoft was buying up so many bonds that there was no inflation. Have you ever lived a time in your life when there was no natural inflation on your main form of currency, on your fiat currency? I haven't. Anyway, Strategy continues to accumulate Bitcoin massively with 592,100 Bitcoin held as of June 15th. Now, if you don't know, Bitcoin only has 21 million tokens ever available ever. It's estimated that 3 to 6 million of those tokens are lost and gone forever. We can show you, if you go head over to bitcointreasuries.net, that 3.4 Bitcoins are being held by institutions right now. So for a company, well, this company is included in that calculation. However, to have this kind of numbers in front of you to say, almost half of this money, half of this currency is not available to you. It's just gone. We've never encountered a currency like that before us ever. Gold is the closest thing because we can mine it, and it does eventually release more, which is, why Bitcoin is so popular. It took the mechanic of mining and used that as its deflationary release mechanism, and it's beautiful. But I digress. So Trump's victory and his pro-crypto promises have transformed market perspectives. So Michael Saylor is revising his output on the total price of what a Bitcoin could be, and he's saying $21 million by 21 years. So he caused a shockwave during a speech in Prague, and he said exactly what we're talking about right now, and that he's updated his previous prediction of $13 million to 21. We're saying the same things over and over. So there's bills, and yet there's the Genius Act, Stablecoin Act, Bitcoin Act. These are all United States bills being pushed through different levels of government right now. There's the current Bitcoin price. So yeah, I'll give Saylor some credit. This guy thinks on his feet. He thinks very quickly, and he's citing changing circumstances. So he's saying, hey, in the last 6 months, these things have happened. It's changed my outlook on things. And this also allows him to reserve the right to come in if things turn terrible. He can also come in 6 more months and say, all right, well, based on revised factors again, I'm going to change my estimate on the price of Bitcoin. And this game could happen indefinitely. And all we would remember in 20 years is that one time that he called it right. And I think that's the play here. I don't have that kind of reputation myself where I could just start throwing sheets to the wind like that. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. I think he totally should do this because he is a guru. He's well ahead of the pack here, and he deserves to have this level of credibility. So I agree with his current speculation. I think 21 million per coin in 21 years is fairly accurate. And without going too deeper into this, I think we're just going to move on from it. So we're going to have a look at this article from CoinGape, and it says Cardano ETF approval odds in 2025 hit all-time high on Polymarket. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this article. I'm just sort of using it as a segue, but this is positive news for the crypto space. It's very good news for the crypto space. We have Cardano ETF approval odds hit 79%, fueled by positive SEC talks and growing institutional interest despite recent price volatility. So I believe Cardano's price is down significantly. I think we're in the 50-cent range when we were pushing $1, I think about 6 months ago. Don't quote me on those time frames, but you can quote me on those prices. So we've got Cardano approval, or odds of approval hit 79%. Bloomberg raises the Cardano ETF approval odds to 90%. That's pretty awesome. With SEC talks boosting optimism. Despite ETF optimism, Cardano's price faces a 1% decline amid ongoing market volatility. That's because there's no significant news here that can really jack up the price in any significant fashion. But overall, we don't know when it's going to happen. We just know that, we have a 4 out of 5 chance of the Cardano ETF approval happening. Now, how do we get to these odds, and what exactly is Polymarket? This is the segue to what we're going to focus on next. I think it's great, again, that Cardano's, positioning itself, and wait till we start talking about the Knight token. We'll probably do that tomorrow. But they're positioning themselves very, very well to be extremely utilized by multiple chains in the space. So huge credit to Cardano. I often don't give Charles Hoskinson the credit he deserves, but I'm tipping my hat to you today, my friend. And again, we're going to move on from this because the focus here is Polymarket. And what exactly is Polymarket? Because we've focused on it for a few articles for their sources. So I thought it might be interesting to go and have a look. Now, I haven't created an account. I'm not going to sign up, but this is the part we were talking about where this could be gambling sensitive. So what you can do here is we're going to start in the trending category, and it's mostly political. But you can see, you can literally take out a flyer on a lot of what if scenarios. What is going to happen? Like, so Israel, I can't say that right. Israel and Iran ceasefire before July. They think there's a 99% chance that's going to happen. So I can buy a yes. So if I bought $10 worth of a yes, I would win 10 cents if it happened. So that's not the best bet for me. But those numbers are very calming to me because I would love to see an Israel and Iran ceasefire before July. So I don't know how accurate this really is because this is influenced by bets more so than I don't want to say research, but research does come into play, but bets will factor into the payouts. So if the bets are skewing one way, then the payouts become much, much lower. As you can see, is there going to another military action against Iran by Friday? They think there's a 3% chance. So if I was to go buy a $10 bet here and it happened, it would be $156.66. So normally not a politically charged channel. We'll move over and you can see there's lots and lots of different categories here. You can go to mentions. I thought this was hilarious because what will Trump say during his Independence Day remarks on July the 4th? Now, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money. I am not trying to tell you. However, if this guy thinks he's going to be the crypto president and he's making huge moves in the crypto space, he's probably going to address crypto or Bitcoin in his speech. And currently, folks are saying yes only 7% of the time. So if I think this is a sure thing, in my personal opinion. So if I was to go put a $100 bet on this, oh, my apologies, put a $100, there it is, to win $12.50. I think that, in my opinion, is easy money. So I may take a flyer out on this after the video. I just wanted you to see that, you can bet on crazy things on this site. So they do have a crypto section, and this is where some of our sources have come from. Now, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit because these are, price targets on local tops. But let's have a look. Will China unban Bitcoin? Airdrops. The likelihood of airdrops by these companies. Solana all-time high by June. Nah, it's not happening. See, look at this. A Ripple ETF approved in 2025, 81% chance. That's, if I wasn't educated in the space, I could come in here and I could say, wow, I can pick up some knowledge from the people in the know, and they think that there's a 4 to 5 chance that there's a Ripple ETF happening this year. That might influence my crypto purchases. I'm not going to kid you. It might. But I would do more research than just coming here. There you go, an OpenSea airdrop. This is also super easy money right here. Will MicroStrategy sell any Bitcoin in 2025? No. No, they're not going to be doing that. They're not going to be doing that. They're not. In my opinion. But as you can see, there's crazy level speculation happening here. I like this one too. MicroStrategy purchases greater than 8,000 Bitcoin in a week, in this upcoming week. I love it. They're going in angle by angle by angle here. It's really cool. It's the Vegas of what if bets. And I'm a big fan because if you live in a place where you can't trust your news, what you can trust is odds. So you could go here and you could go to the politics and you could say, okay, who's going to win the Democratic nomination for New York City mayor? And it looks like Zohran Mamdani is going to win. So I might be able to pick up from that. Will they officially declare war? That's not a super relevant question. Major cyber attack on Iran in June? 100% chance. Now, I think there already was a cyber attack on Iran. But again, I'm not sure if you can create your own wager here or not, but it is very interesting. You can have a look at the popular activity. You can have a look at what people, there you go. You can have a look at what people are doing, or, they're there creating or betting on. Yep. No. Look, this is pretty cool to watch. Anyways, this is what Polymarket is. It is a real-time marketplace where you can wager on events. And we're just going to leave it at events. So, today's video has been brought to you by your friendly neighborhood Double Daddy and the fine folks over at tokenpathways.com. We hope that you'll like and subscribe wherever you're seeing this today. And we hope that you'll head over to the website, our YouTube channel, X, Discord, pick one. Just come reach out, say hey, drop a comment, and let us know content that you'd like to see. Again, I think that we'll talk about the night airdrop in the very near future. It affects a lot of people. So I'd like to bring you that information. And I hope that you also recently enjoyed my extended deep dive into the Disney Pinnacle app by Dapper Labs and their trading mechanics. If you haven't had a look at those, go back to the channel and definitely look. If you have ever wanted to get into digital collectibles, there's no better bet than Disney. So I highly endorse them. I am not being paid by them. I'm a big fan of their app, Disney Pinnacle, on the iPhone app or the Android store. Thanks again for watching, everybody. TokenPathways.com and Double Daddy signing out. Go have yourselves a great day. You rock.